All right, hello. My name's Andrea, or Drea for short. Today is Saturday, November 14th, 2020, and this is episode 2 of my Make With Me series. If you're joining me live here on Instagram, welcome. If you're watching this on IGTV, welcome. And if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome. All right, so first of all, for those of y'all joining me live here on Instagram, I have to apologize. For some reason, my Wi-Fi is not very reliable right now, and so I attempted to do this live 5 times. So we're running a couple minutes behind, and I'm actually using my data right now, so fingers crossed that nothing weird happens throughout the live. Hello to the people that are joining so far. I have my tripod a little further back than usual, so it's a bit much for me to actually hit that little wave button, but just know that I see you, and I am so happy that you're here. How are y'all doing today? How is everybody doing today? Definitely let me know. So before I get into the actual crochet portion of this, I did want to make a couple of announcements. First of all, we hit 50 subscribers on YouTube. That is so exciting. That is a pretty significant milestone since I'm a pretty, small creator. So I really appreciate everybody who has taken the time to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I will be having a giveaway at 100 subscribers. So the next goal is 100 subscribers, and the sooner we get there, the sooner we can have that giveaway. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. It really helps out a lot, and we can get to the giveaway a little sooner. Second announcement is we will be having episode 8 of the podcast next Saturday on November 21st. And since it's the Saturday before Thanksgiving, it will be gratitude, thankfulness themed as it relates to crochet and knitting and yarn and the fiber arts in general. So same time, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Third announcement, for this Make With Me episode that's going on right now, we will be having a after party over on YouTube. Not really relevant if you're watching this on YouTube because this would have been in the past, but if you're watching this right now live here with me, we are going to be having an after party. It's going to be tomorrow, which is Sunday, November 15th at 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. The link will be in my bio, and yeah, we can just kind of chat while the premiere is going on. So it'll be like a chat on top of a chat. So it should be a lot of fun. Hello to the people that have just joined. How are y'all doing today? Just getting some kind of administrative announcement stuff out of the way here at the beginning. Okay, so I think that's all the announcements I wanted to make. So today I will be working on my Selene cardigan by Leroo Crochet. It's in testing right now, so I'm thinking it'll be released around February, and it's a lot of fun. So last night I made the little holes for the pockets, and so we are just cruising right along, and it's going to be a 3-color fade. So I am doing I'm using Swish DK yarn from We Crochet /Knit Picks, and there are 3 colors. Color A is the Cobblestone Heather, which is the dark color. Color B is Marble Heather, and then color C is the Dove Heather, which is a lighter gray. So we are kind of in the transition phase between the Cobblestone Heather and the Marble Heather. So what I'm going to be working on today is going to involve me changing colors every couple of rows or so. So I've got my scissors over here, and it should be pretty straightforward. I do have a backup project in case things kind of go awry here. Let's see, I'll be in and out because kiddos, but so excited to finally make it to this. Yes, yeah, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you being here. And like I said, the replay will be up on IGTV and YouTube eventually, so if you missed some parts of it, you can definitely watch the rest of it. But thank you, I really appreciate you being here. I've watched all your videos, but this is my first time making it live. Can't wait to hang out and whip with you. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you were able to make it. So on that note, what is everybody working on? Is anybody crocheting or knitting right now? I always like hearing about what people are working on, for sure. Give you a few seconds to respond because latency. I wish that I could have like background music or something. I know things get kind of weird with like copyrights and things like that, but just something to kind of like fill the in between silent spaces, you know. See, I am knitting a baby blanket. Almost done, but I love it so much that I'm not ready to complete it yet. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I am working on a knit blanket too, much larger than a baby blanket. It's Afghan size. But yeah, I'm sure that's a lot of fun. It's always good when you're able to find a project that you like so much that you don't want to finish it, you know, because you just enjoy the process so much. I've had a couple of projects like that. Let's see. I'm weaving in ends to finish up my pattern test for at Creative Critter. It's her Varsity Bomber cardi coming out soon, and it's amazing. Oh, nice, nice. I'll definitely have to check that pattern out. I love cardigans. Obviously, I'm like working on a cardigan right now. So I will definitely be keeping an eye out for that release. Let's see. I think I'm gonna pull out my lattice lace dress. I'm procrastinating weaving in ends on a sweater I just finished. Oh no, why are you going to pull it out? The lattice lace dress is actually my backup project that I have to work on today in case this cardigan goes awry. But I haven't really made that much progress on it. I'm still on the waist shaping because I've just been working on other projects, but I'm sorry to hear that you're thinking about pulling it out. It's always kind of like heartbreaking when, you know, projects don't go the way that you want them to. Let's see. Trying to make a hat for a baby, but I think not much will be accomplished with her and her sister both awake. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. But the good thing about baby hats, you know, is that, you know, their little heads are just so tiny that they work up really quickly. So that's pro for it. Like maybe just like finding like little spurts of time to work on it. Maybe you'd be able to finish it. All right, so I just finished a row on the cardigan, and I think I have one more row in this color before I switch to the other color. Hi Emily, how are you doing this afternoon? We're kind of just talking about what we're working on. So if you'd like to share what whip you're working on right now, we'd love to hear about it. I meant get it out to work on. Oh, okay, so I totally misread that then. My bad. Disregard everything I said. I'm sitting kind of far away, so if I like misread something that y'all said, please forgive me. Yeah, I'm really trying to figure out a good setup for these, because I'm like, my camera is like really far away so that y'all can actually like see my hands while I'm crocheting. And I put a poll in my stories asking if there was a preference between like this kind of like front facing camera view and like an overhead shot where like you can just see my hands and not my face, and it was literally split 50-50, and it's like, this is not helpful. So I'm hoping that the next time I do one of these I can, because like I need the tripod that I have right now, it doesn't really adjust to where I can do an overhead shot. So I need to get like a camera arm that does that a little bit better. So hopefully I can get one of those, and then we can try to do an overhead view, and hopefully y'all would still be able to hear me and everything. Hi, I just painted my nails, so not working on anything at the moment, but my current project is the Black Widow test by Stephanie Aaron. Okay, cool. So, first of all, what color did you paint your nails? Because I have been very into nail polish lately. And also, I saw the Black Widow sweater by Stephanie Aaron. I definitely like the kind of texture that's going on at the yoke, so I might have to pick that pattern up when it comes out. Sorry, sometimes my brain is like, or like, I guess my mouth is like kind of ahead of my brain, so my words get a little switched around sometimes. Let's see, I did say pull it out, but intended it as I'm going to get it out to work on it. Got it. Okay, so like I interpreted it as rip it out or like frog it out. So that's just, words can have multiple meanings. It happens. Bright red. Ooh, okay. Bright red. Awesome. I need like a nice bright red nail polish. I'm not sure if it really like looks good on me. Like lately I've been painting my nails a lot of like cooler tones. Like right now I have them painted at, okay, I'm way too far away, but right now like they're this kind of gray color, and I've been doing like a lot of like blues and stuff lately too. But I've really been, I think I need to get like a bright red because I think that looks nice. Usually in terms of like reds and pinks, I go for more of like a maroon or like a cranberry, like that kind of family of colors. But like a nice true red would be really cool too. So, get some water. All right, so is there anything in particular that y'all would like to talk about? I do have like a backup list of topics in case the conversation dies down, but I definitely kind of want to open up the floor to the people that are here live with me right now in case there's anything in particular that you'd like to talk about. So definitely let me know. I'll give y'all a few seconds to respond, and then if not, we can move on to talking about something else. Let's see. I have so many shades of red nail polish and lipsticks, and I rarely use them. Yeah, sometimes I have always been like I guess since my teens, I've been like really like either hot or cold when it comes to like a lot of like cosmetic type stuff. So lipsticks, nail polish, makeup in general. There was like something else I was gonna say, but I already forgot. But yeah, I'm either like really into it and like wearing it like all the time, or it just sits for like months up to years. So right now I'm definitely kind of like in a hot phase where like I love painting my nails. I love wearing different lipsticks and things like that. But that could definitely change at a moment's notice. And I feel like with quarantine and everything, it's like part of the reason why I got back into those things is because I have like a little bit more time to actually, paint my nails and like put on makeup and stuff. So that's been an interesting side effect of the pandemic for sure. How's your Tunisian blanket going? It's going pretty well. So last night I finished my last square, which was the meandering cable square. I had attempted it earlier and got confused, so I decided that I was going to come back to it at the very end. And the third time's the charm, because the third time I attempted it, I was finally able to figure it out. So once I finished that, I started blocking all the squares, because I decided that I was going to wait until the very end to block all of them. And that may have been a bad idea for a few reasons. First of all, I did not have enough blocking pins to block 20 squares, so I actually had to start using some of my stitch markers, because I have like this set of like, it has to be like pretty close to 1,000 stitch markers, literally 1,000. And it's like, they're kind of like those light bulb safety pin type markers. So I had to pull those out to use to pin the squares down. And also, I just did not have enough like blocking mats, because each square is 12 by 12. And the set of blocking mats that I have are like these kind of like interlocking blocking mats that are each like about 12 by 12 themselves. But you need like a little bit more space to actually like block them out to 12 by 12, if that makes sense. So I wasn't able to block all 20 squares at the same time. I was only able to block 17 of them. And then another issue is that I completely underestimated how like hard it is on your hands and your fingertips to get those, especially like the stitch markers, to like open them and like actually pin them down. So my fingertips are very upset with me right now. But this morning I was able to, I guess, unpin some of the squares that I blocked, because I steam blocked them and let them sit overnight. So I was able to unpin them and then get the 3 that I wasn't able to block last night started, and to kind of give my hands a break from pulling up the pins, I started like weaving in the ends, and I've started seaming them together too. Another thing that's interesting is I ran out of my color D, which is the gray that I was using, and that's the color that I'm supposed to be using to seam the squares together. So I do have a little bit left, so I'm able to get started on the seaming, but nowhere near enough to actually seam all the squares together. So I decided that I'm going to use the purple to seam the rest of them together, and hopefully it won't look too bad. I think it'll be fine, because all the colors go together pretty well, and I can just claim that it was an artistic choice. So my goal is to have the blanket finished by the podcast next Saturday, but I'm not entirely sure that's gonna happen. You know, I'm expecting it to be like another busy week at my day job. So might not have enough time to get everything together, because there's like a border on the blanket as well, but we're just gonna see how close we come. Seriously impressed with you for finishing a blanket. Way too big of a project for me. Oh, thank you. You know, it's definitely a pretty large blanket. I think the final dimensions are gonna come out being like 40 by 50 or something like that. So it's a pretty decently sized blanket. And Tunisian crochet as well, which I know how to Tunisian crochet, but you know, it still takes a little bit of time and effort. So I have spent a lot of time on the blanket, and I'm really excited to finish it, because I feel like I'm kind of at a point in my life, like personally, professionally, all of that, where there's a lot of like transition and like a lot of things up in the air, like waiting for answers on things, and like I just need to finish something. Like I just need the feeling of like, okay, I worked on this and it's done. And so that's why I'm like really kind of like charging ahead on the blanket, so that I can actually finish it, and like move on with my life, you know. So it's kind of like symbolic as well. Let's see, I missed a few comments here. Oh no, poor fingers. Yeah, you know, like I wish that I had like some gloves or something that I could wear to make it a little easier, but I think I'm just gonna have to like take some breaks with the blocking, and then as I because, you know, kind of alternate between like unpinning the squares and like weaving it in and seaming them together. I think if I do it like that, it'll be okay. But definitely learned a lesson that maybe I shouldn't wait until the very end to block everything. You know, maybe block 4 or 5 squares at a time. I thought that I was being more efficient by waiting until the end to block everything. But I didn't think it was going to like physically hurt me. So lessons learned. Let's see. Shanice. Hi, Shanice. How are you? We're just talking about like what we're working on and everything. So if you'd like to let us know what you're working on, we would love to hear it. I think it'll look awesome like with the different, using like the different colors to seam it together. Yeah, I think it'll look okay. I seamed a couple of the squares together this morning, and you can definitely tell what color I'm using to seam it together. So you'll definitely be able to tell that I'm using different colors to seam it together, but I think ultimately it'll be okay. It'll be an artistic choice. All right, so I just reached the end of this row. So now I need to switch back to my color A. And for this one, I'm actually carrying it up the side of the row, since I was able to do that. Sometimes I cut it, sometimes I carry it. It kind of just depends. And then let me see. I need to work 1 row of color A. Yes, 1 row of color A. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut my color B. All right, I'm working on a huge blanket that will eventually have 56 squares. I started weaving in ends and blocking the squares I have at the end, or every week, so I don't have to do them all later. See, that's smart. That's what I should have done. That's what I should have done. How big are the squares? 56 squares is a lot, because the blanket I'm working on now is only 20 squares, and then I have another blanket that I'm working on that's 24 squares. So I'm assuming if your blanket is 56 squares, your squares are quite a bit smaller than the ones that I'm making. But yeah, definitely the more squares you have, the more ends you have to weave in. So I don't blame you for doing it as you go along. Also, I've loved watching your progress on the tea cow. It inspired me to ask for Tunisian hooks for Christmas. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're thinking about getting into Tunisian crochet. I've really enjoyed it, and I think that the holiday tea cow, or I guess it's not a tea cow anymore, it's like a stitch sampler blanket. I think that that's a very good project to kind of like learn a bunch of skills at once. It is a lot of work, like we just talked about, but I'm so glad that you're getting a hook set for Christmas. Which hook set? Because I am actually in the market for a hook set. I have like a pretty inexpensive one from Amazon, but you know, it's not my forever hook set. It's a little, I've had a couple of issues with it, so I'm definitely in the market for something that's a little nicer, now that I know that Tunisian crochet is something that I want to keep doing. Let's see. I have some blocking pins that are like combs. Not sure how to describe them. It makes blocking so much easier. Yes, I can like visualize what you're talking about. And I might need to get those, because the blocking pins that I have are just like the little kind of like T-pins. And those are fine. But the issue that I was having was like using like the stitch markers as block. So the moral of the story is that I need to step up my blocking game, so I don't cause myself physical harm anymore. So yeah, those comb-like blocking pins, I've never used them before, but I can definitely see how they'd be a little easier to work with, for sure. Let's see, silicone thimbles are great for your fingers if you need something to protect them. Okay, cool. I will definitely have to check those out, because I do make quite a few blankets and honestly things in general that need to be blocked. So I think it's time to like make investments in things that will make my life a little easier. So silicone thimbles, I'm definitely gonna have to check those out. Let's see. All right, I'm working on a hat. Cool. I saw the hat that you finished in your stories. That one looked really cool, nice and textured, so that's awesome. Let's see. All right, so it seems like everybody is really wanting to get those comb blocking pins that Emily was talking about. I want some too. I would really like some too. Let's see. So the squares are like 7 by 7, very tiny, maybe the size of a small washcloth. Okay, that makes sense then. So 7 by 7. Yeah, that's pretty small. So 56 squares total. I'm assuming you'd arrange them by like eight squares across, or 7 down, or 7 across, 8 down. So that could come out to like a 56 by 49. Okay, so that's a pretty decently sized blanket. That's about the size of what my Tunisian sampler is going to end up being. So definitely a decent sized blanket. Let's see. I love my Denise interchangeables. Plus, if you subscribe to their email list before you buy from their site, you get a discount. Also love that they are compatible with their knitting set. Okay, cool. I've definitely heard a lot of good things about the Denise interchangeable set. I think that's the set that Tony from TL Yarn Crafts really likes, the Denise interchangeables. So I might have to check those out. And that's really good to know that it's compatible with their knitting set, because I'm getting a little bit more into knitting as well, and an interchangeable knitting set would definitely come in handy. So I might have to check those out. Hi Naomi, how are you doing today? We're kind of just talking about what we're working on. So if you'd like to share what you're working on, we would love to hear about it. Let's see. I don't think mine were too much, maybe 20 something. Okay, that's not too bad. And like, how many would like come in the set? Because I'm curious like how many sets that I would need to buy, for example, to be able to block like 20 blanket squares. Because clearly I didn't have enough T-pins. That I had a set of 100 T-pins, and I ran out on like the 6th or 7th square that I was trying to block. Because some of the squares were pretty close to 12 by 12 already, but some of them, just by like the nature of the stitch, needed a few more pins to be put on the sides to get them to the right dimension. So that's why I ran out so quickly. Yes, that's how I learned about them. All right, cool. Oh, like TL Yarn Crafts was how you learned about them. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I really like that the Denise set could go with their knitting needles too. I think that that's super convenient. So that's pretty cool. I think it came with 8 longer ones and 8 shorter ones. Gonna go check. All right, cool. So 16 total. Yeah, I could definitely see how that would work well for garments. And theoretically, with like those longer ones, if you're blocking blanket squares, you could probably use like one of the longer ones on each side of the square, instead of having to have like a ton of like the T-pins to get one side to lay flat. So I could definitely see how that would be a good investment. And obviously those would work well for like garments and shawls, because you wouldn't really need as many pins for those to begin with. I don't really pin my garments out, just because that kind of messes with how the fabric is naturally supposed to lay. But I definitely pin my shawls out, because I really want my shawls to open up. Alrighty, some water. They're from Knitter's Pride. 12 blockers with 8 pins, 8 blockers with 4 pins. Okay, that sounds pretty decent. I'm actually, all right, would y'all be mad if I like looked this up right now? I think I might. I'm curious. Knitter's Pride blocking. Oh yeah. So I forgot. I turned the Wi-Fi off my computer. If you were trying to join the live like right at 1 p.m., for some reason my Wi-Fi has been like really spazzing out. So like I wasn't able to establish a good enough connection to start the live. So I turned the Wi-Fi off on my laptop in an attempt to like not have it hog the Wi-Fi that much. But that didn't quite work. Let's see. Okay, I think I see the set. Yes. 12 blockers with 8 pins and 8 blockers with 4 pins. And that cost... Okay, it does not have a price on here. Unless I'm like completely missing it. That is very strange. Where's the price? I want to know how much it costs. But yeah, I might have to pick up a set of these once I figure out how much they cost. Let's see. I know it looks like they have them on Amazon as well. $23.46 from Amazon, and I'm pretty sure this is that same set. So that's not too bad. Definitely would save my hands, I think. Let's see. Hello, how are you doing today? I see we have a couple more people that have just joined. We're just talking about, you know, what we're working on and blocking pins apparently. And yeah, so if you'd like to share what you're working on, you are more than welcome to do so. We would love to hear about it. I think I got mine through Amazon. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I think I'm looking at the same listing here. $23.46. So let's see. I'm actually gonna add that to my wish list because I want them. I want them. That's something that might be my Christmas present to myself. So yeah, I am trying to figure out what I should buy as my Christmas present to myself this year. Because last year I really needed a new phone, so I got the iPhone 11. But this year I don't really need like any like major purchases like that. So I'm not sure. First of all, I need to figure out how much I'm willing to spend. And then second of all, I need to figure out like what exactly I'm gonna get, because we already talked about how I'm thinking about getting like a new Tunisian hook set, maybe a knitting needle set, these blocking pins. I've also really been wanting to get into cross stitching, so supplies for that. So I'm trying to figure out what my Christmas present to myself is going to be. Maybe it'll be all of those things. I don't know. It's been a long year. Maybe I should treat myself a little bit. We'll see. We'll figure it out. All right. Hi, thank you so much for joining. If you would like to share what you're working on, that's kind of what we're talking about right now. So yeah, if you'd like to share what you're working on, definitely feel free to do so. We would love to hear about it. Yes, cross stitch. Yeah, I think so. I've gotten really interested in cross stitching lately because I've been watching a lot of like cross stitchers on Twitch, and it just seems so relaxing. And one of the squares on the Tunisian holiday tea cowl sampler blanket that I'm working on actually involved cross stitching, so I kind of consider that to be like a trial for cross stitching to see if I would like it, and I love it. Like, it is so relaxing and so therapeutic. So now I want to cross stitch for real. So yeah, it seems like we have a couple of cross stitchers here, so if you would like to share any like resources or patterns that you found particularly helpful when you were learning how to cross stitch, I am all ears, because I've been browsing like some cross stitch kits on like Etsy and Joann's and like all of the, you know, craft stores, but I can't quite figure out what I want my first project to be yet. So definitely would be open to hearing other people's thoughts. Let's see, finishing my first crocheted cardigan. Oh, cool. I'm actually working on a cardigan right now as well. It's a pattern test. So what pattern is your cardigan? I love cardigans and I would love to crochet some more after I'm done with this one. Let's see. And it's definitely much cheaper of a hobby than knitting and crochet, lol. I can imagine that because I feel like when I was like watching one of the like cross stitching streamers on Twitch, they were mentioning that like one of the craft stores, so, like it was either like Michael's or Joann's, was having like a pretty big sale on embroidery floss, and it was going to be like 45 cents per skein, and I was like, man, I can't imagine anything in knitting or crochet costing 45 cents. Like we don't have to talk about how much I spend on yarn per month, and certainly not per year, but it definitely does seem like cross stitching is a little bit less expensive than knitting and crochet. It does seem like there's like some specialty type stuff, so like you can get like fancy fabrics or like fancy flosses even. So I can imagine that that would cost a little bit more. Just like knitting and crochet, you know, like you can choose to always get like the indie dyed yarn that's like $30 a skein, or you can choose to get like budget yarn or like a combination of both. So I think when it comes to like how like cheap or expensive a hobby is, it's really kind of like up to you and like the materials that you get. But yeah, I can definitely see why cross stitching would be a little bit less expensive than knitting or crochet. Crochet especially, because knitting uses less yarn than crochet. Crochet is definitely a yarn eater, especially depending on like what stitch you're using. Okay, it looks like my yarn is starting to like get a little tangled here. 1 second, y'all. I just want to take care of this before it gets worse and I get frustrated. Alrighty, and then my yarn is on the floor. It's fine. Everything's fine. So we're just gonna put this to the side so it doesn't happen again. Alrighty. Let's see. The cross stitch subreddit is great. Yeah, so I'm actually in the cross stitch subreddit. I obviously haven't posted anything because I don't actively cross stitch right now. But I've definitely been like inspired by some of the stuff that people have been posting there, and I've seen people post like a couple of resources too, so I'm definitely going to check that out and see if there's anything helpful on there. It can add up though in terms of price. Yeah, I can definitely see that, especially if you're kind of working on like a super complex piece that has like a lot of like different colors and has like a very like large area that you're working with. I guess it goes without saying, like the more material you're using, whether that's like floss and cross stitching or like yarn and knitting or crochet, the more it's gonna cost. Generally, I think that holds true most of the time, unless you like buy stuff wholesale or something like that. So I can definitely see how the cost of cross stitching can add up over time. All right, hello. I see we've had a couple more people join. We're kind of just talking about, it seems like the conversation has shifted to cross stitching now, but if you would like to share whatever whips you're currently working on, we would love to hear about them. All right, let me check the pattern. I think I need to switch colors again. So if you missed it, I am working on the Selene cardigan by Leroo Crochet. It's currently in testing right now, and I'm actually doing a fade. So right now I'm kind of like in the middle of transitioning from one color to another. So I'm switching colors quite a bit. So yeah, I just worked one row of color A, work 3 rows of color B. Oh good, so I don't have to switch colors for a while after I finish this. I just wound up this yarn and now I'm already unwinding it. I played myself. It's fine. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut my color A, and then put that out of the way. Oops. So that it doesn't get tangled up with everything else. Set that to the side. Let's see. Love it. The Willow cardigan from Crochet with Carrie. Okay, I might have to check that out then. Always on the hunt for new cardigan patterns and garment patterns in general. I love making stuff that I can wear. Let's see. They have a lot of info on their subreddit wiki, and there's a website too. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm definitely going to take a look at their subreddit wiki then. Seems like it'll be a really good place to start. Sounds like it'll be a good place to start, from what you're telling me. And see, that colored fade is starting to look great. Thank you. Yeah, I noticed that too when I held it up to the camera. I was like, oh, this is actually like starting to come together. I've like always wanted to make something that had a fade to it. So for this cardigan, there are basically 3 different options that you can do with the colors. So you can either make the entire cardigan in one color, or you can do like the body in one color and then kind of the ribbing in a different color, or you could do this 3-color fade. So I decided to do the 3-color fade because I was like, I've always wanted to do a fade, and the pattern actually has it written out on when you're supposed to change colors, which is good because I was not trying to figure that out for myself. To be honest, I did not want to like do that math to figure out how to do a fade. So I was more than happy to test the fade out for her. So that is what we're doing, and it's starting to look great. I'm so excited to introduce this lighter color at the top. So it's gonna be a while before I get there though. Quite a while. It's a cardigan and it has like quite a bit of ease, so it's definitely a labor of love, but thankfully the testing deadline was pretty generous, so thankfully I have like enough time to actually complete it. And all things considered, it works up pretty quickly. It's just the fact that like it's so large that it's going to take a while. Let's see. Loving the fade. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it's coming out so far. And another thing is I'm happy that like you can kind of actually tell the difference between the 2 colors now. Because before, when like you kind of just had like this stripe of color B, it was really hard to tell the difference between the color A and the color B. There really isn't all that much contrast between the 2 compared, like if you're comparing color A, color B, and color C, you can definitely tell the clear difference. But colors A and color B are a little bit more similar to each other than I thought they looked online. So I'm glad that now that we've got a little bit more of the color B in there, you can actually, words are hard, you can actually distinguish between the 2 a little bit more. So that's good. Let's see. All right, so it is 1:46. I did start a few minutes late because of the technical issues at the beginning. But I don't know, we probably should start wrapping up a little bit. I try to keep my lives kind of between 45 minutes and an hour, really 45 minutes and 55 minutes. Although I guess it doesn't matter too much now because recently Instagram made it to where the lives can be 4 hours long instead of 1 hour long, so it's not going to cut me off right at the hour mark, which is good. But I don't want to be on here for 4 hours. So last call, If there is anything else that anybody would like to share or talk about, I would be more than happy to talk about it. But otherwise, I'm gonna start wrapping up within the next 2 or 3 minutes or so. So yeah, I'm really happy with how much progress I've made on this cardigan. I think I've done 2 or 3 rows while I'm sitting here, which is good. I didn't think that I was the type of person who would be able to crochet and talk at the same time, but as long as the project is simple enough, it seems like it works out pretty well. So, some more water. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping up here. Thank y'all so much for joining me. This was so much fun. As always, I do apologize for the technical difficulties that we had at the beginning, but it seems like things worked out in the end, so that's good. So the replay of this is going to be up on IGTV and YouTube by tomorrow. I'm not going to upload it to IGTV right away for reasons, but it'll be up there eventually. Don't forget, if you came in late or had to leave early, we're having the after party tomorrow, November 15th at 6:45 Central Standard Time, 6:45 p.m. I should say. Please don't wake up at 6:45 in the morning on a Sunday. 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time over on YouTube. Basically, if you're not aware on how premieres work, the video will be, playing live, so you're not going to really be able to pause it or rewind it, and then we're going to be chatting off to the side. And then, of course, if you're not able to make the premiere, the video will be up on YouTube like a normal video after the premiere is done. Next week's podcast is episode 8 on November 21st. 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is the Saturday before Thanksgiving, so we're going to be talking about the things that I'm thankful for, or have gratitude for related to crochet and knitting. So that's going to be a really good episode. I'm really excited about it. And then, yeah, so if you are watching this on IGTV, it would be super helpful if you were to like the video, comment on the video, share it to your stories. It really kind of helps with the algorithm. We all know that the algorithm is a little funny. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, it would be really helpful if you like the video, commented on the video, and then subscribe to the channel. Thank y'all so much for 50 subscribers. We hit 50 subscribers on Monday, I think, and that was super exciting. So our next goal is going to be 100 subscribers. So really looking forward to that. I'm going to be having a giveaway at 100 subscribers. So the sooner we get to 100 subscribers, the sooner that giveaway will happen. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, so I think that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go now. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day and a good rest of your week. And I will be back next Saturday with episode 8 of the podcast. Happy making. Bye.